Okay, in this video we're going to take a look at the dial sensor, and we're actually also going to introduce the concept of variables. So in the last video we saw how we could make a light sensor trigger how bright or what color a tricolor LED might be. In this video we're going to take a look at the dial sensor, and we're going to show you how you can change the level of light based upon how much you turn the dial. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is, like I did on the last video, I want to see what the values of the dial are giving me based upon the turn of the dial. And so I'm going to go to my looks category, and near the top I'm going to see the say block. Seems kind of counterintuitive that you would have a say block in a looks category, but it is there because it's saying it onto the screen, which you have to see in order to read. So we're going to say, and we're going to go to sensing, and we're going to go to pull out the Hummingbird light sensor, even though we actually have the dial sensor, because I've got to change it here. And I've actually put mine on port 2. So the first part of our scripting area is going to say, when the green flag is clicked, give me the value of the dial sensor on port 2, and give it to me right here. And so I'm going to click the flag, and I'm going to come over here and I'm going to turn the dial. And you can see as I'm slowly turning the dial, the number here is changing. If I go all the way to the end, it gives me about 100. Okay, so 0 to 100. And I'm not sure, but as you test out your own dial sensor, you might get different values, maybe 101 or 100. So I'm going to switch that to 0. So right now the dial is reading nothing. And then I'm going to come over to a couple of other things. So one of the great tools within any kind of coding is this ability to make variables. And variables are what hold information for us and allow us to pull that information out when we need it. And that information can change over time. So if I go to variables over here and I make a new variable, I can make a variable that says something like dial value. Okay? And I'm going to keep it for all sprites, which is fine for now. I'm going to hit OK. And what happens is this value comes up here, and you'll notice that actually it also comes up here. Okay, so in some ways we don't even need this say block because we're going to have it up here as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to say a couple of different things. We're going to set the variable that we just created to the value that's coming from the dial. Hopefully that makes sense. So I'm going to set the dial value to my dial sensor on port 2. All right, let's throw that in there. Let's see what that does. I hit stop and start, and I'm going to throw this out. And what you'll notice is as these numbers are changing, these numbers are also changing. So that's good. We've got the dial value as well as the variable dial value matched. Okay, and then once we've done that, once we've said whatever the dial value is coming from our sensor is placed into this variable, now we can say take that variable and do something with it. So for example, I can come over here to the looks menu, looks category. I can bring out the tricolor LED, and let's just use, maybe we'll use the red value for today. We can go to variables and we can say set the Hummingbird tricolor LED on port 1 to dial value. And so what that means is we can now make the light go to the value of the dial. So if I start this up and I go to my dial, and you'll notice that as I start to turn my dial, the light gets brighter and brighter. Okay? And if I turn it down, the light starts to get dim. So this is how you can use, 1, the dial sensor, and 2, a variable to make things happen within your robot.